Hey, thanks for being here. I wanted to, this kind of came out of a little bit of a story that I have and I want to share with you, with the idea, hopefully you have some takeaways from this, some ways to kind of look at handling adversity personally, professionally, and maybe have some formula for that. So, bottom line is, we are in rural Pennsylvania, and anyone who is smart enough to start a business would realize this ain't the place to do it, okay? 23 years we've been blessed to be there, and thankfully we are still there. And so we've been with TTI probably about 20 years, and very blessed and thankful to be a part of the organization and with you folks. So we're about 2 hours east of Pittsburgh, about 4 hours west of Philadelphia, and we're right in the Allegheny Mountains, right where that started to bridge to go over to expanding the west. And my wife and I live on a 46 acres in rural Williamsburg. Okay, now that is an oxymoron. Williamsburg has one stop sign, 2 convenience stores, and nothing else. So a duck pond, okay, so there's a duck pond. We're 5 miles out of there. And so we are in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, we're very blessed, and I just want to tell you a little story, a couple things that happened, and hopefully we can use this. And this network is so fantastic, I can't imagine what you'll be able to take away from it and make it your own. So we're out there in about 3-4 years ago. I was out there in the acreage playing around and found a tick on me. And we are right in the heart of Lyme's disease, if you've ever heard of that. We are right in the smack heart of it. And so right away they put you on antibiotics, and that's a good thing to try to take care of it immediately. Anyway, I didn't feel that great. Ended up finding another one on me about 2 or 3 weeks later. This was April, now we're into May. And all of a sudden, I'm not feeling really very good. And I'm starting to kind of go downhill. Now, my style, 100% D, 86% I, 3 S, and about 2 compliant. Okay? And so attention to detail is not one of my strengths. First of all, I can't spell attention, and the closest thing to detail is when I clean a fish. Okay? So there's a lot of things that would have been helpful if I'd kind of paid attention to them. So about 3 or 4 weeks, I'm starting to get incredibly cold sweats. And I'm not talking about just a little bit. I'm talking about getting up and changing 3 times a night. And I'm starting to get weaker, and I'm starting to get really to the point where, something isn't right here. And I would get up and walk to get to the mailbox and get the newspaper every morning. I would have to drink a bottle of Gatorade just to get out back. Now, it's 650 feet out and 650 feet back. No, yeah, about 1,500 feet back. But I would have to drink a Gatorade on the way out and the way back just to try to get rehydrated. And then I would go to my business, and I would do the best I could, and then as soon as I was done, I'd go in my office and shiver uncontrollably. Now, you might get the idea that this isn't right. And probably, had you had some attention to detail, you would start looking into that a little bit. But I kept going, right? High D, move forward. Don't let anything slow you down, charge forward. So I keep going, this too will pass. So I was kind of denying that there was really something going on and kind of resisting this whole idea of slowing down. And I remember the last program I did at our training center before things really hit the skids, I went back in and sat down in my office, and I said to myself, what the hell did I just give those folks? So I was starting to think, this isn't really very good. So we're doing a bunch of tests, and they're saying, oh, this blood is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I didn't pay any attention to it. It didn't sound right. So finally, about 2 days before the 4th of July in 2014, they sent me, because we're in a small area, to State College, Pennsylvania, near Penn State, and they did a bunch of other blood tests. This is an infectious disease doctor. And so anyway, we would usually go camping 4th of July, but I said, no, we couldn't do that. I was so weak. But anyway, push forward, move forward, just deny what's going on. Anyway, so I get so they do more blood work. This is an infectious disease doctor. And anyway, so I'm expecting on the 4th of July for him to give a call and say, okay, we've isolated what's going on. Let's go ahead and give you another antibiotic. Boom, done, move on, right? High D, always in control. So 9 o'clock on that Friday, I get a phone call from him. He said, hey, John, I only met him once. He said, I've got you set up to go to the Altoona emergency room. I'm going to have you admitted. I'm afraid your liver's going to fail. Now we're in wake-up mode. Okay, that did kind of wake me up. Now, believe me, there's a lot of times in my life where my liver could have failed, all right? I could take a lot of credit for that, but not this time. So all of a sudden, we're in there, and we're at the Altoona Hospital, and they're doing all these tests. And the bad thing about us is we can really read people, right? We make it our science. We live it. And so finally, we've been there about 6 hours, and the doctor says, these blood numbers aren't really looking much better. Okay, now to give you an idea, when the liver enzyme gets to about 67, that's when they say, we better see what's going on, okay? Well, I didn't realize it, but at the time it was 950. So things aren't going very good. I'm starting to look like I got a tan, but it's not really a tan, okay? So next thing you know, she says, because we're in a small community, I don't think we can wait till the doctor gets back from 4th of July holiday, so I think we should send you to another medical center. So I said, well, that's probably a good idea. So let me tell you, first of all, I think, well, my wife will just drive me there, right? It's 3 hours where we're going. She'll just drive me there. No, we're not letting you go. You're going in an ambulance. So let me tell you what a $3,000 ambulance ride is like. They strap your ass to a piece of plywood and throw you in the back of a UPS truck. All right, and so now we're going 3 hours on Route 80, right? And I'm used to going on Route 80, but I'm looking this way. Now we're pulling out of Altoona, and I'm seeing my big size 14 feet on a gurney, by the way, that wasn't tall, okay? So I'm hanging off the damn thing. They got me strapped down there. I'm looking at Altoona disappear between my feet and saying, you know what? I may not be coming back. And that was like a really weird realization. And so all of a sudden, as we go through this, 3 hours later, I'm at Geisinger Medical Center, get in there, and I had my mind made up that I'm going to have a beautiful single room all by myself. Reality kicks in. I'm with an Alzheimer patient who their lights are on all night long. They're in and out. He's carrying on. So it was, anyway, 7 days, 28 different tests, not one treatment. The only thing they identified was an antibiotic injury to the liver. Now, I think there was a lot more going on. We'll never know. So there I am, and now I have to realize I've got to kind of explore what's going on here. I've got to immerse myself in this thing, and so I did, and I began to journal, and I journaled every day. My blood work is improving. My blood work is going better. And I didn't realize it. 3 months ago, my wife told me that they had told her, they told her that if these numbers don't change, well, it's not going to end very well. I had never known that. I knew it wasn't good. So anyway, thanks be to God, 7 days, I'm on my way home. Now, I will tell you this. High D, high I, okay, this one's done, turn the page, move forward. Well, I'll tell you, when we have an adverse event, oftentimes be aware of the hangover effect. I didn't realize it, but my wife and I both had a hangover effect where this thing lasted. It was hard to get re-engaged. It was hard to get back into things. It was hard to just get our arms around this thing. So be aware, high Ds, high Is, there might be a hangover effect to whatever that adversity is. Thankfully, 100% good, not a thing wrong with me. I'm blessed. So numbers started to get back to normal about, I'd say September, October. So fine, business is suffering. I was doing the minimum I could do, but doing it. So then we get to the point where, hey, I had a deal that I was working on. Finally, this thing breaks loose. $70,000 deal. For me, that's a nice size deal. For some people, that's a drop in the bucket. For some, it's a lot. For me, it's a nice size deal. Been working on it for probably a year and a half, finally get the thing going, get the numbers done, get everything set up, and I said, look, I know you're having a meeting, you're bringing everybody in, I'll do a free, just a nice program for your sales meeting, because I'd done one before. Great. So I'm working on this program. I had just done it a little while ago. It was a home run, fabulous, right? So I'm working, but it just didn't quite feel right. You ever have one of those? But why not? I'm working on it, and I'm working on it, and I'm putting it together, and it's a home run. I know it's a home run, but something just does. You ever have it? Just doesn't feel right. That little voice is denial again. Resistant. No, I don't need to do anything. So I'm up there, and this happened to be in Buffalo, 5 hours away, and it's the night before. It's Sunday night. I'm working on it again. Something just doesn't sound right. Nah, shut up. It's fine. I'm in the room. And frankly, it was a very negative environment. But regardless of that, I'm in the room, and it's about 4 hours. So I'm sitting in there. I'm sitting through all the programs again, sort of negative. Finally, it's my turn to get up. And I tell you right now, I got up out of my seat like this. And I got up, and I felt a smack on the back of my head from that little voice saying, change what you're going to do. And I said to my little voice, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Now, so I get up there, and I do the program. I remember, a couple months ago, Donald Trump dropped the mother of all bombs. You remember that? No, I did, okay? In Buffalo, in 1 hour, I made the biggest bomb. It was horrific. And so now I'm driving home 5.5 hours, that gnawing voice is saying, this ain't good, something ain't right. The next day, they fire me so fast, $70,000, right down the toilet, done. The program, it was the program itself. It didn't go right. The people didn't engage. It just flopped. And it was about, you could come all kinds of different reasons to justify it. But at the end of the day, it bombed. The owners were there of this pretty good-sized corporation. Actually, I got to this organization. They were a large distributor from a huge manufacturer that I had done some work with. Not a lot, a little bit. So it was just horrific. So now, here I see this, and now I have adversity. I have it in terms of personal, health-wise, and now professional. And finally, I sat back, and I started looking at this, and I said, there's something here. And as I did that, I kind of found out, I had really been going through a process, and so I want to give you this process. And it might be something you've already heard of, and like the formula for change or something like that. But I realized as I was going through this process that these were the stages that I was going through. And I want to share with you, maybe if you want to jot it down, because here's what I want us to do. I want us to take this process and use it real time when we hit an adverse event, and I'll show you why. So I think, again, the first thing I realized is I was denying things. I was denying it, just push forward, right? I'm a high D, I'm a high I, don't let anything slow me down, let's move forward. And so the first thing we do is we deny. Now, we are so blessed at TTI, and I don't know why you're here, you should be over there listening to Dr. Izzy, but he's talking about emotional intelligence. And so on this side of the screen, some of the skills is self-awareness. Really having that, listening to that inner voice, stopping and saying, okay, what is this telling me? What am I denying? And to become aware and awake of what's going on. And so the first thing I think we did, or I did, was denial in both cases. All right, I've got blood numbers all over the board. I can't hardly stand up, and I'm in denial. I'm hearing this little voice. This program ain't going to work, and I'm in denial. And so now we have to transition to the next step. And the next step is we resist. Okay, I know something's not right, but I'm going to resist it. I'm going to fight it. I'm going to push through. And the skill I think we need there is that self-regulation. All right, wait a minute. Wake up. Something's not going on here. Let's redo things and do it differently than we've done it before. Self-regulation. So now in this step, stage 2, in the resistance stage, to move to the next stage, we have to let go. And this is what I realize. What do I have to let go of in order to move this process forward? Well, first of all, the need to control. I have to let go. I'm a high D. I'm in control of everything. Maybe not. For this to progress, I need to let go. I need to let go of the resistance. I have to learn to let go of the negative energy, all the different things going into my head. And one of the biggest things to let go is the victim thinking. It's not fair. It isn't my fault I bombed. There was negative energy in that room. They didn't really want to do this stuff anyway. To let go of the poor me, the victim of why in the hell am I getting this sick? Why am I, next thing you know, in an ambulance riding down Route 80, hitting every expansion joint going backwards? Right? And to let go of that victim thinking, that negative energy, that head trash. Well, what is it that we have to let go of in order for this to go on? I think it's going to depend on the situation, and I think it's going to depend on ourselves. But being that self-awareness, okay, I'm a high D. I want control. I want results. And when do I want them? Yesterday. I'm a high I. This too will pass. I'm happy. Everything's great. Let go. Letting go is the key to getting to the next step in this stage. The next stage is exploration. And here's what I think is the exploration phase, and that is saying, being open. And repurposing adversity and thinking about, what is the gift that's being given to me now? What is this event going to do for me? Why am I going through this event? Exploring what could be the good thing that comes out of this adversity. I guess I'm getting to the point where I believe that every single adverse event is to help me grow, make me better, make me different. But if I don't go through this process real-time, self-aware, it's probably going to tear me apart. It's probably going to grind me up and spit me out. And so in this case, in the exploration, I think we go to the skills of understanding and emotional intelligence, the motivation. And the motivation has to be, if I want to reach my life's purpose, this must be a part of it. This must be the missing piece I'm giving birth to. I just don't know what it is yet. And so empathy as well. And what I mean by empathy here is, I mean empathy for yourself. Sitting back and saying, okay, I'm a high D, high I, move forward, high utilitarian, don't let this slow me down, get the hell over it, man up, go. The blood works fine, get your butt out there and get to work. But I think we need that empathy to understand what we're going through, understanding and giving yourself permission for that. And I don't know how many of us do journaling, but boy, that's a very powerful tool. I journaled in that hospital every day. Today's blood work comes back better. I am going to cooperate with the healing process. I am going to use the capacity to heal and be healed. And I journaled every day going into this thing. And that was Sunday. We got there Friday, Saturday, things were going up. Sunday, they leveled. And by the way, I want to talk about the emotional intelligence of doctors, right? So the day before, that was like Thursday, I'm at this gastro doctor, right? And he's got an assistant with him. And he's pushing and pushing and pushing. He says, yeah, I think the liver's swollen. Yeah, I said, I don't think it's cirrhosis. You son of a bitch. You know, I'm here ready to croak, and he's giving me condemnation, you know? So anyway, different story. We'll go there later. So journaling, talking to yourself, exploring, and creating. Because you know, in emotional intelligence, every thought we have creates what? Chemistry. And so taking control. And then moving from there to the next phase of this whole process, commitment. And the commitment says, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to cooperate with this process. I'm going to find what this gift is. And I'm going to make myself better. And but we can't reach it. We have to go through the phase. And social skills means is really, okay, who out there do I need help from? Who out there can I talk to? Social skills, right? Building that network. Who out there should I be working with to help me through this? And knowing, okay, what's my purpose here? We talk a lot about our purpose. And how is this going to help me reach my purpose? And then hopefully making it to the final step, acceptance. Accepting the gift, accepting the process, if under the stage 2 of resistance we have to let go, in this stage we have to let in. Well, we can't let in till we let go. I think we have to let the process in real time, meaning, where am I in this stage? Where am I in this process? Letting it in. Letting in exploration. Letting in the belief I'm being given something here. I'm in labor pains right now. I'm giving birth to something that's going to be great. Letting in the gift that's in disguise. Giving it permission. And being grateful. And then letting in the victor status, not the victim status. Making that acceptance of the different things and the different gifts that this whole thing is happening. And so as we look at this, how do we repurpose it? How do we use this process? How do we repurpose adversity? What can I learn if I didn't fight this? What's the gift that I'm being given here? And now, what I'd like to do is just, with the time, we're going to watch our time here a little bit, but maybe just take about 2 minutes and just on your own, if you look down at these stages, are you in any of those stages right now? I'll back up and put them on there again. In your own life, is there any of these stages you're in now? Maybe. And maybe not. But what I'm hoping you can do is take these, keep them, and it doesn't even have to be a huge adverse event. Maybe it's a difficulty with a client. Maybe it's in your business hitting a different goal. Maybe it's adversity with a child or a friend or a spouse or something like that. But I'm trying to really utilize this, and I haven't perfected it.
I think my wife's a college nurse. This is, your talk is very consistent with the conversations that she has with her patients. You did it with yourself as a patient, which I find fascinating. One of the things that I think of when I see this is the power of the emotions that go through this process. And I love your phrase, victor or victim. And victim is so negatively emotion driven. The victor, the champion. Yeah. And that positive emotion. I love the emotion that you pull out of this conversation.
Thank you. And it's recognizing that emotion. And it's, of course, in emotional intelligence, we know not to judge the emotion, right? To just accept it.
That's the key, being okay with having him, understanding they're all part of being human, and recognizing how to move forward then.
Yeah, by embracing it versus fighting it.
Exactly.
And, thank you for that. And as a high D and a high I, and a high utilitarian, get on with it. Let's short circuit it. Man up. And we miss the gift, right?
And not
What's it costing me?
Yeah, what's this
panic
costing
of
me?
not being in control.
That's exactly right. You strap your butt. I mean, when they put you on that gurney, they strap you in. And you can't freaking move. And my feet are hanging off the damn thing this far, right? If you've ever been on Route 80 in Pennsylvania, and I'm thinking, I ain't in control here. And I did, that's when the exploration started to kick in. And I made a commitment. I'm going to be the best patient they ever had. I don't know where that came from. Thank you for that. Let's look at some of the repurposing. Now, let's look at the gift in it, all right? What are some of the rewards of looking at adversity differently? All right, what are some of the things, certainly we've got to listen to that inner voice.
Christmas. I set my goals in October. I like to do it then, so that it sinks in. By January 1st, I'm ready to go. I'm going through a major life change. Christmas, that virus, I was sleeping 20-hour days for 2 weeks, dead. Every time I tried to think, my brain would hurt. I would get exhausted, down to study.
Wow.
I feel great now, but I mean, 2 weeks, I lost 2 weeks. High utilitarian, it's like 2 weeks, man, I got 2 weeks.
Wow. It is a lot of time, and yet, what did we come out the other end with? What did we come out the other side of the tunnel, that dark tunnel, with? So, active listening. We all talk about active listening with our customers and selling. Active listening to that inner voice. If I had to do it again, when that voice said, this program is going to bomb, I know exactly what I would have done differently. I knew it then, and I would have changed it. It would have turned everything out.
I think you have to look every time something isn't working. Always have to turn it on its head and look at the other side.
Instead of fighting
You
it.
have to build a habit.
Yeah. Building the habit. And that's what I'm not doing, and that's what I'm trying to do with this. I really appreciate that. This is what now I've got to go through the process. What am I denying? Sir? Yeah.
Sorry, my English is very little. Sorry, but I am connected with my auto-compassion and my love of ourselves. Is a big emotion with these 3 questions. I listen my auto-compassion.
Compassion.
Yeah, and turning it into self-compassion.
It's not a question of.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Thank you. The comment. Thank you.
Skill, my English skill. The process, the slide before. Can you repeat the?
Yep.
No, voy a intentarlo. Yes. One more. Yes. For me, the skill. No. Okay. The last skill for me, I connecting with auto-compassion. Love ourselves.
Yes. Great point. Self-love, self-acceptance. Thank you. Yes. Self-acceptance, self-love, not beating ourselves up. Yes. And if we don't have that, we're not going to get to that point. No, thank you for that. Okay, so let's look at some of the hidden gifts and some of the rewards. Well, okay, one of the rewards, if we look at this process and repurposing it is, priorities come clearer. We think we have the priorities down, but they come a little clearer. And so one of the things I realized is, when I'm laying there and things aren't looking too good, I'm saying, I got a lot of toys on my acreage. I've got tractors and chainsaws and all kinds of stuff I love to play with. I think I can let those go. My son at the time was 27, sharp kid. He'll be all right. I looked at my wife of now 34 years walking down that long hallway, ready to take the 3-hour drive home, and I said, I can't let that go. And that has been such a gift. We always had a good marriage, but it's even more special now. And that we just realized that we really enjoy and appreciate ourselves. We always did, but even more so. What a gift. We look at the reward of what we touch lives. We are like's been said in there. I love the talk yesterday. We are like dominoes. How many lives do we touch, right? And if we have a gift, now we give it to our people, right? And then they give it. So it's a tremendous factor as we grow and we become stronger. We release some of our inner skills and talents. It's not just for us, it's for all the people that we touch. So I find out the more that we grow, the more that we give. Now, when I say the more we grow, I always spell it with 2 O's, just so you know, okay? We find out, Wayne Dyer, who we lost 2 years ago, but Wayne Dyer wrote a lot of books. But one of the things I loved, he said, we find out that we are far greater people than we ever thought we were. We find out we are far greater than we ever knew we were. And so give ourselves the permission to accept those gifts. And then maybe even from a professional standpoint, I was 2 weeks after I got fired, I was going back to that major manufacturer to do a small program for them in Pittsburgh for their distributors. And I said, okay, this ain't happening again. This is a gift. And so I tore out the presentation I was going to give for them, totally revamped it, went over there, did a home run because I went through the process and learned from it and took that gift. There was one man in the audience there. It was only maybe 30, 40 people, but there was a man in the audience there who was on the committee to get speakers for the national sales meeting for this large manufacturer. He liked it so much that he recommended me. We worked together, and in April or March of 2015, I did the national sales meeting for a small company called ExxonMobil, and we did their national sales meeting. There was about 330 people in the room. I was nervous as could be, and after it was done, the national sales manager stood up because I was the last speaker. He said, the national sales manager stood up and said, let's give him another hand. That really exceeded my expectations. And so there's so many gifts, personal, professional, that can come out of this process. And my hope today is that we could give this to you. You could look at it, use it real time to get through the process, to grow from the process, to not get beat up as much on the process of the adversity. And so I guess what I'm really hoping is, the goal of this talk is really, how do we reimagine adversity so that we can reimagine our own personal excellence? And so thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here and for spending some time with me today. Thank you.